A very pleasant evening to all the distinguished panelists and participants. Bharati Vidyapeeth Institute of Computer Applications and Management BVI CAM in association with Computational Intelligence Society chapter of IEEE Delhi section, Computer Society chapter of IEEE Delhi section, Technology and Engineering Management Society chapter of IEEE Delhi section, System, Man and Cybernetics Society, chapter of IEEE Delhi section, Communication Society of IEEE Delhi section, Consultants Network Affinity Group of IEEE Delhi section, Life Member Affinity Group of IEEE Delhi section, International Inter-Society Relations Standing Committee of IEEE Delhi section, Industry Relations and Special Interest Group on Humanitarian Technology Standing Committees of IEEE Delhi section, Region 10 of IEEE with the associations Computer Society of India, Institute of Information Technology Professionals IITP, ISTE Delhi section, and IETE Delhi Center as technical collaborator welcomes you all to the webinar on the topic Changing Role of HR Heads for Gen Z and Millennials. It is a moment of pride and honor to announce that we, with united hands, mark special contribution for the monumental occasion Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, an initiative to celebrate 75 years of glorious independence by organizing the thought-provoking sessions for our better future. The webinar is an initiative for the celebration of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. The workplace has become a psychological battlefield, and the millennials have the upper hand because they are tech savvy, with every gadget imaginable almost becoming an extension of their bodies. They multitask, talk, listen, type, and text, and their priorities are simple, they come first. This webinar is based on a NASCOM report published recently, Gen Z and Millennials, Reshaping the Future of Workforce. Our expert will present the findings and will bring out what new strategies will the chief human resource heads need to develop in the immediate years. Similarly, the session will be equally good for all to understand expectations of the young workforce so that those are managed appropriately for the best outcomes for commercial values. I would first take this opportunity to welcome amongst us our distinguished panelists for the day. We are privileged to have amongst us a galaxy of experts. I welcome you all. Next, I would take this opportunity to welcome amongst us our expert speaker for today's session, Mr. Damandev Sood sir, with an e-bouquet. We welcome you, sir.
Thank you very much.
With over 337 years in the industry and over 17 years in the resilience domain, Mr. Damandev Sood sir is a certified international and corporate trainer with over 10,000 hours of training teaching experience. In his professional journey with corporates like TCS, Accenture, Continuity and Resilience, City Innovates, EY, HSBC, he has played various senior executive roles like principal consultant, group head, practice head, COO, CIO, VP, board member, program director, etc. He also have traveled, worked to in over around 20 countries. He is a speaker and author of near around 4 books. He has served clients in various industry sectors like government, IT, banking, financial services, insurance, telecom, marine, manufacturing, pharma, power, media, trading, etc. On his journey, he has won multiple national and global awards and have also been inducted into BCI Hall of Fame. He spends considerable efforts on his pro bono work also, in which he is mentoring with IEEE, MentorCard, CameWise, Udayan Care, etc. Currently, he is a freelance international resilience trainer and consultant serving cybersecurity, operational organizational resilience, BCM, risk and crisis. He is the chair, Computer Society Delhi section, chapter IEEE Delhi section and IEEE ambassador. He has designed over 40 courses, including those for global entities like BCI, BCS, NCE, MA, etc. We are privileged to have you amongst us, sir. I welcome you and invite you for your deliberation. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. So, am I starting?
Yes, sir.
All right. Okay. Great. Thank you very much. Good evening, everyone, once again. Um, I'm not able to share my screen now.
So you will be given sharing rights within few minutes.
I hope all is well with everyone, and the new year is turning out to be good for everyone. The topic is close to my heart. I believe close to everyone's heart, and that's why we have picked up. While I'm waiting for my access to be sorted out for sharing the screen, I hope there are some HR heads in the attendance today. And even if the answer comes out to be no, no, there are none HR heads, don't worry. Stay for my first poll coming up. This session is linked to resilience directly. In the past, we used to say people make companies or people make organizations. In recent times, I made a little change in this. I say resilient people make resilient organizations, which will make resilient communities and then ultimately a resilient planet that we look forward to. This session is, I'm repeating, directly linked with this approach that we, all the people of an organization, need to be resilient. There's a lot that we need to be resilient. When we think of organizations, what comes to mind easily is that our systems, our IT systems need to be resilient. Our buildings need to be resilient. First of all, we, the people, need to be resilient. And any organization that doesn't take care of its people is not resilient, according to me. So that's the first step that we all need to work on. And that's why I picked up this topic today. Let's attempt to understand people. And specifically, today's focus, based on NASSCOM's report, the focus is on millennials and Generation Z. I'm still waiting for my access to be sorted out.
Sir, I'm just getting it sorted. I'm connecting with the team. Thank you.
Right.
It will take a minute more.
No challenge. At the same time, then I extend these discussions towards customers. These customers may be internal, so our employees, and then people come into picture once again. Or these customers may be external customers. Any organization that doesn't take care of its customers, any organization that is not customers friendly is not a resilient organization, according to me. We can take many examples, and we may be deviating from that topic that we had picked up for this evening. But while the access is being sorted out, I'm happy to continue in that direction as well. So when I say any organization that is not customer caring, customer friendly, is not an organization which may be called a resilient organization. Quickly, an example. I hope, I guess, I assume that all of us have faced this. That if you want to interact with a company, especially when you have a concern or a complaint, you go to the website and you find an email ID which says contact us. And you write something and there's no response. That's bad. That is an example that the company doesn't care about its customers. Or sometimes, which is a little better, there's an auto response. Thanks for writing to us, and we will get back to you in 24 hours or 48 hours. Even if you know that it's not a person, it's a system, it's an auto generated response. But what you feel is what you know is confirmed your mail has been delivered. And then you wait for 24 hours and 48 hours and there's no response. That's worse. We need to improve on this. This is one very small point in taking care of customers. My excess has been sorted out, so we'll
Yes,
start
sir. Yes. Thank
the
you, sir.
evening's discussions. Let me attempt to share my screen. In between, how do I launch the polls when we need to launch the polls?
Sir, our backend team, Uttam sir, will be supporting you with the polls.
Okay, so I'll keep asking, please launch poll number one, right?
Okay, sir.
And I hope he will be able to share the results also at the same time. Am I
I
right?
think one of them is here, so you may check on the screen, sir. The polling has been there.
I can't see the poll. Is it in the chat box? Does it come in the chat box?
Sir, it is just coming under the Q&A option on the screen itself.
Which I do not see when I'm presenting my slides.
Okay, I'll ask sir to please help you with this.
Right. Okay, great. So good evening once again. The topic today is changing role of HR heads for Gen Z and millennials. The name is Daman Dev Sood. A lot has been said, so I'm not going to be reading this slide, but quickly, 37 years in all in industries, having been across companies, countries, different roles, different senior roles or executive roles also. I'm a speaker, author, trainer, consultant, auditor, etc. The session has been brought to you all through IEEE. So specifically, my association with IEEE, I'm senior member of IEEE ambassador, chair of Computer Society Delhi section chapter, chair of publications, public relations and publication standing committee of IEEE Delhi section, member champion of IEEE India Move. So if any one of you are not aware of IEEE or not aware of IEEE India Move program, please get in touch with us and we'll be happy to provide more information. I'm also IEEE Computer Society distinguished contributor in the inaugural class. This is my IEEE association. This year, I have celebrated the silver jubilee. First poll, can we launch the poll, please? Question to all of you is, are you an HR person? And only two options, yes or no. You can select only one.
Sir, the polls are already released, and I found this question on the polling itself. I think you need to minimize the full screen, then you will be able to view at your screen also.
I guess I'll have to stop sharing, right? Again and again. Let me attempt.
Because we are finding these poll questions. Even I submitted the reply for this.
I don't see
Under the
this.
participants on the right hand side of the screen,
Right.
you're getting an option Q&A and polling.
Polling right.
Yes, therein once the question is
Great.
released, Yeah.
Great. I can see it now. So, is it live? How do
Yes,
you see
sir.
the results? Good. How do you see the results? Question
With
is
the,
to
yeah.
all of you, all participants, are you in HR person? Yes or no? Please select your options. I hope you are able to see the results also. Right. Great. I'll keep requesting. There's a lot of interaction that I have built in today's this evening's discussions. Please keep participating. 40 people have not responded, right? So please keep moving your fingers for the next ones. This one can be closed. Only 5% said yes to, are you an HR person? I would like to make a correction. All of us are an HR person. For myself, I'm an HR person, right? Thank you very much. Let's start believing this, that we are HR person. Coming back to my slides again. So this is what the report says. First conclusion is we are living in an increasing multi-generational world. Spend few seconds on this screen. Carefully, please pick up your pen, paper. Locate yourself on this chart. You need to note down next polls coming up specifically if you are Generation Z or if you are Millennials or if you are Generation X, etc. So that's why we need to know where do we stand. All right. For example, I'm a product of 1964, so I'm into boomers. My wife is product of 1965, so she falls into Generation X, and our son is into millennials, product of 1995. So we have three generations in the family. Please note down for yourself, where do you stand? Which generation do you belong to? Assuming that everyone has made note of that. So basically, silent was people born between 1928 to 45. Boomers would be 1946 to 64. Generation X was people born from 1965 to 1980. Millennials were called from 1981 to 1996, their year of birth. And Generation Z is born from 1997 to 2012. Assumption that in this session, at least, we do not have anyone who was born after 2012. So, not yet perhaps with in this group. Can we launch next poll, please? Which generation do you belong to? Yes, I can see it on my screen. Great. I'm answering for myself. I'm into the boomers. Which generation do you belong to? Please respond. It was a quick one. We can close the poll and let's see the results also. Great. Thank you, one. Thank you very much. So it seems the greatest participation today is from millennials, followed by Generation X, followed by Generation Z. Right. So still, it seems millennials is the greatest strength in this session today. Thank you very much. If you look at this one, we are living in an increasingly multi-generational world. It's crucial to understand the new generations as they form majority of working population. That's why this session. HR heads, CHROs, my senior, even if he or she is not HR head, but she is my first approach, my supervisor. They need to know, they need to understand us. We need to understand our people so that we take care of them, so that we utilize their strength to the best of the outputs in any organization. One most important output is being good commercially. Look at this slide once again. Please check whether you relate to these characteristics and be prepared for next poll. So what is this study? NASCOM study is saying about millennials, that's column 2, and the parameters are common. Media, communication preference, focus, work, maturity, and work values. So millennials, for example, for work values, they saying flexible variety, while Gen Z is the youngest one, right? Just keep this in mind. They are saying flexible stability. So once again, please check whether you relate to agreement, disagreements, to what extent, if you are millennials, if you are Gen Z. So next poll is only open to millennials and Gen Z. If you do not fall into these two categories, then please do not respond. Can we launch poll 3, please? How much do you relate to these characteristics? If you're millennial, then option A or B. If you're Gen Z, then option C or D. Select accordingly, please. This time I'm not responding because I do not belong either to millennials or to Generation Z. I'm into boomers. May I request polls, please? Type in your responses. One piece of information that this talk is based on NASCOM study. This report will be available to all participants at the end of the session, like your participation certificates also. Is there no response? Is there no response to this one so far? Which means poll close. All right. Okay. There are some responses, but it seems still no answers from 56 people out of 81. My request is this is a very important research. At the end of the session, in a couple of days, we will be sharing our analysis with you all. The report will be available. NASCOM report will be available to you all immediately at the end of the session. But our research-based analysis will be shared later on, for which this participation is very important. So keep responding, please. Thank you very much once again. Moving on, while the world gets older, India is getting younger. So some data available here. I'll leave it for a few seconds, for a minute at least, for you to digest. But in summary, the young India story goes like this. As of 2021, share of Gen Z and millennial population in India stood at 52%, which was higher than world average of 47%. While the difference is not much, I would say 5% is not a great difference. So on this point, I would say share of Gen Z and millennial population in India and world is same. This trend is expected to continue till 2030, which means for next 7 years, when the share of Gen Z and millennials in India is expected to be around 50%. So from 47% in 2021, 2 years ago, in 2030, for India, it will be 50%. 50% people at least will be from millennials and Gen Z, while in the world, it will be 46%. So that seems that 5% gap is still being maintained and still not a big gap according to me. And it would remain significantly higher compared to China, which is 38%, and Europe and North America, which is 37%. This data provides us some points to ponder. This data provides us some points to ponder. This is why it's very important. You need to understand our people. Can we launch poll 4, please? As we saw, as the world grows, India is getting younger. So, getting younger, is it a boon or a bane? And now everyone can participate. Everyone can participate in this poll, please. This time I have also responded while I'm not telling you my response. India getting young, is it a boon or bane for the country? Your options A, B, C, boon, bane, or C. We don't have, even the world doesn't have enough resources to do justice for the population rising at this rate. Few more seconds before we close this poll. Please do respond. Very important for us to get this data so that we do analysis and share the report with you. So response is a bit better this time. From 61, we have come down to 44, not responding. 35 people saying it's boon. So maximum saying it's a boon, but we say bane 5 out of 85 participants today. While some 11 are agreeing with option C also, that we don't have enough resources. And then if we say we don't have enough resources, even we means not only India, we are talking about the world as a whole also, which means 1 point from people point, from HR point angle is to control the population as well. Today, we are not going to spend time on that, but this is what has just come out. Great. Thank you very much. And if it's boon, then we need to work towards it to utilize. If it's a strength, then we need to work to utilize. I go up to an extent of saying exploiting this strength for the benefit of the country. And one of the benefits for any person, any organization in any country is being good commercially also. Indian tech industry workforce is also getting younger because the share of Gen Z and millennials is increasing. Once again, I'll leave the screen for you to digest for a few minutes. Majority of CHROs, Chief Human Resource Officers, said fresher hiring is a key growth strategy. Freshers hiring is a key growth strategy for any company. And if we look, significant fresher hiring over the last few years in the tech industry. So this slide is particularly about tech industry. Has pushed the share of Gen Z to 18 to 20% of total employees in year 2022. So what we see is baby boomers and Gen X is just 12%, 10 to 12%. Millennials is the biggest one, which we had seen earlier also, and which makes sense also. Gen Z is fresher ones, they are just coming up. Once again, when we see this is the mix of our workforce, we need to look at our policies accordingly. We need to take care of these because we want to exploit their strengths to the best of the company and the country. Next slide is interesting. Gen Z is willing to stay longer in their first job. And once again, this is technology industry, tech industry. Gen Z, which is the youngest one, right? Is willing to stay longer in their first job. So what we see on the left hand side is type of company Gen Z college students aspire to join. Tech, and that's why that's the biggest pie we see on the left hand side. About 70% are willing to join the tech companies. I'm not saying this is good, bad, ugly, because if we see PSU government is just 10%. In this study, we are not comparing whether the requirement of PSU government is being met or not. For example, PSU government needed 25%, but only 10% willing to join. This is not coming out of this study. This was not part of this study. So we are not able to comment upon that. 70% of Gen Z students surveyed aspire to join technology industry, which implies that the industry will continue to attract quality talent. 79% of Gen Zs are willing to spend more than 2 years in their first job. Gen Z, 79% are willing to spend up to 2 years, more than 2 years in their first job, but with a condition. What's that condition? That the employers provide them the right employee value proposition. What value? What does this mean? Employee value proposition. What do you foresee to be a value for yourself in a company? What do these millennials or Gen Zs look to be the value for them in a company? Those questions to be answered by HR heads, and they may need to. They may need to change some policies and practices. Then we will be a customer caring, I said, which means a resilient organization. Customer may be internal or external. So internal is our employees. When we take care of the employees, we will be a resilient organization, which is the need of the R. Going to next poll. If you are a fresher, so all can participate once again. Even if I'm, for example, 37 years, I'll answer this question as if I was a fresher. If you're a fresher, how long will you be willing to stay with your first job? May I request the poll to be open at least for a minute, please? And everyone can participate. So I'm looking at great participation. Good if we touch 90% plus 100% participation. If you're a fresher, so I'm saying even the seniors, experienced people will assume for this question, for this poll, as if they are freshers and then answer. And I'm also participating in this poll like a fresher. The poll has ended. Is it set for 1 minute automatically? Can we see the results, please? I hope people had responded within 1 minute. Can we see the results, please? Great. Thank you very much. So up to 2 years, millennials saying to a great extent, smaller number of people are saying less than 1 year. You look at Generation Z, they are saying less than 1 year. So this is how it seems with respect to NASCOM report, in this session, we all are responding bit differently to this question. We are saying less than 1 year, while the NASCOM report said more than 2 years. But there is one difference also. We generally, because the session is IEEE, so we will be a similar type of people. So our sample size perhaps is different from NASCOM's sample size type, as well as the number of people who are present, as well as number of people who are participating. 60 people have not responded to this one. Thank you very much. Poll 6. I request you all to go to this link, which I'll type in the chat box also. What is more important to you while joining a company? Most important, you will rate 1. Whatever option characteristic is most important to you, that should be rated 1. And there are 5 in all, so you'll rate them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 is least important to you. While joining a new company, you will see there are 3 questions there. You will respond accordingly. If you are millennials, then you will respond to question 1. If you are Generation Z, you will respond to question 2. If you are others, then you will respond question 3 in this call. And I'm typing here in the chat the link to go to. For this one, I'll wait for a minute at least. Please access this link given in the chat box. That's an IEEE platform for running surveys. Only one survey, one poll to be done through that link. There is a response in the chat box. One, I do not understand what does that mean. Please go to this link URL given here. You'll find 3 questions. Respond to one of those depending on which category do you fall in. Millennials, Gen Z, or others. And I'll give you extra time because you need to play with the numbers, order of those options. What is more important to you when you are joining a new company? Be sure before you submit your response. And the results of this poll will come in the analysis report that we will share with you later on, along with the analysis of all other polls that we are running this evening. Good news, we just scored a century of participants once again. We have done that many times. We have scored a century of these webinars also, just for your information. Okay, I hope everyone who wanted to participate has responded on this link. So I'll go back to my slides and we'll continue with our discussions again. Question was, what is most important to you while you are joining a company? Okay. And 3 categories, 3 generations had to respond separately. Thank you very much. Now you can see what have you responded and what did the participants in NASCOM survey responded. Top criteria for selecting an organization for Gen Z is brand value, followed by culture and ethics, followed by learning and growth. While out of given 5 parameters, they give least importance to corporate social responsibility charter. This is Gen Z. If you look at millennials, top priority, number one choice, they go for brand value. But if you look at number two, millennials look for financial benefits more than the Gen Z. Financial benefits for Gen Z was at number four, but is at number two for millennials. Culture and ethics, number three. Learning and growth becomes four. Learning and growth was number three for Gen Z, while corporate social responsibility charter is at number five for both groups. What's the pointer here for HR heads? And had said, while the topic was for HR heads, but all of us would benefit from these discussions. And first poll was, are you an HR person? Even if you're not from HR department, even if you're not HR head, not from HR department, we all are HR people. So majority of CHROs. So if you wear HR heads hat, or if I wear HR heads hat, this is what we said, that we are working at upskilling. Upskilling as a key driver for Gen Z. Actually, in the corporate world, two steps are being taken, two activities are being taken: upskilling and reskilling. So, reskilling also is very important. I repeat something that I have been saying in almost all my sessions, all my discussions. Learning and sharing is forever. So, that's why reskilling. Whatever I knew yesterday, I need to know a little more than that today. I need to know a little different also. Upskilling as well as reskilling is important. Learning and sharing is forever. I'm a lifelong learner myself. This is how we have to take. So then we will be able to progress well. So repeating, brand value is important to both while joining a new company. Right? Top criteria for selecting an organization, and this is not saying tech companies also only. It is any company, companies overall. Both gave little less to corporate social responsibility charter, which doesn't mean that we do not care. We means I'm including myself to be millennials or and Gen Z, that they don't care about society. This is not what it means. But because only five parameters were available, out of those five, corporate social responsibility is the fifth one. But we still value this, and we need to take care of people around us. We need to take care of society. We need to take care of environment, which again is a big topic. I hope all of us are aware of United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs. They are 70. Target is 2030. We are already in 2023, so only 7 years left for us to work. India, as well as all countries, are lagging behind on many, if not all. Everyone has to pull up the socks. So, taking care of society, I'm repeating, is important. There is another one when we are talking about reskilling, upskilling. Even if I'm a programmer, assume I'm a coder, it's important for me to know cybersecurity. It's important for me to know security. Security would include physical, information, cyber, all. I can't say that I'm a coder, and that's what my fortune is. That's what my future is. That's what I'm looking forward to. I want to grow. This is where I want to build my career, coding, whatever I do. There are some skills, some areas that are important for all. Even for a doctor, security is important. For an engineer, whichever type of engineer, category of engineer. Information security is important. So, another point that is important for all of us today, and specifically, I'm talking of now millennials, Gen Z, freshers, youngers coming up, looking forward to joining the corporate world soon or have just joined the corporate world. ESG is important to know. Anyone who doesn't know cybersecurity, anyone who doesn't understand sustainability, SDG, and ESG will have little less compared to others. Others will have edge over them. ESG stands for environment, social, and governance. We need to pay attention to that. And again, this is a pointer to HR heads also. So that they need to create this young generation, new workforce accordingly and appropriately. What makes them to stick with a job? What makes them to stick with a job? Gen Z at left hand side we see, and millennials at right hand side. Organization culture and working environment is important factor for Gen Z. Why? CHROs, HR heads, Chief Human Resource Officers highlighted company ethos and growth as a key factor for Gen Z, while millennials look for stability and flexibility. A very important point that I have been talking in the world is when you talk of company ethos, the values, the purpose of the company, we do not understand. So I'm not talking of the young ones, millennials, or the generation Z. I'm talking of people like me also. Even after 10, 15, 20, 30 years in the industry, this is a challenge. Do you have some values? Every company has some values. Where are those? Published on our website. And that's what the mistake is. The way it is done is not appropriate, needs to be improved. And if you say, no, in my company, we are doing it the same way, Daman, as you are going to be saying, as I'm going to be saying soon, be happy. I've been an auditor also, having gone across companies and countries, I'm making such observations. We do not understand. What happens is the top management sets these values, purpose, or objectives. They go out somewhere, perhaps to an offsite, maybe involve a consultant, external consultant, spend a lot of money in setting up these values. Some phrases, big, jazzy phrases, words, and these are published on the website. I go up to an extent of saying, and this is point once again to HR heads perhaps, you need to tell me, perhaps train me on these are our values. Because if I do not understand those values, you cannot expect me to live to those values. And if I don't live to those values, it's not good for you, the company. So there are some extra inputs which are not in the report, some extra inputs that I have been saying based on my experience and also because I work on resilience. I'm repeating, resilient people make resilient organizations, which make resilient communities, which make ultimately we look forward to a day when the whole planet is resilient. This one is to be responded in the chat box. So I'll stop sharing my screen and I'll look at the chat box. I'll monitor. Play, this is role play action. You become an HR head. You can think of any organization. You don't need to disclose either your real organization or your dream company. What would you like to do to increase job satisfaction in your company? That was coming out to be a parameter to stick with a company. Job satisfaction. I want job satisfaction. So, what would you like to increase job satisfaction in your company? Please type in your responses in the chat box. Self-justification is first response. Great, from Professor Aisha. But it's privately, you can write it for everyone. Share with everyone, please. More responses requested. Flexibility in duties assigned is Dr. Shobha. Great. Set values of the company. Nagpal. Okay. It's recognition. So Bala Bhaskar needs or wants recognition. Again, coming as privately, please type in for everyone. Everyone would be able to see. Creativity and interested in work. We can increase reputation. We need to increase reputation, but how do we increase reputation? That's what the HR head will have to work upon. I'll wait for a few more seconds if more people would like to. This is a role play. I have just increased your station. You have become the HR head of the company. Think of your dream company, whichever it is. And then type in what would you like to increase the satisfaction of your employees, job satisfaction of your employees. No one wants to pay more? Pay them well. Appreciation through awards on a company portal. That's very good. Great. It matters a lot. And this award not necessarily need to be financial. It may be just a pat on the back. Increasing confidence of employees. How will you increase confidence of employees? That's what you will have to think of. Appreciation once again from Neha also. Recognition of work done by employees. Great. Dr. Shivhangi saying that. So now recognition is working, coming again and again. Please change, think a little more. You need to think out of the box. And I said I gave a clue so far. No one has said paying more. CPD, what is CPD? Please explain that. Expand that, I mean to say. Madhu saying CPD. Continued professional development, is it? I go up to an extent when I teach business continuity, when I teach resilience, I go up to an extent of saying that HRM is human resources management, and BCM, business continuity management, go hand in hand. In your good times, take care of your people so that they stay with you during your bad times. Bad times means when you would have faced a disaster or a crisis. How do you take care of your people? There may be long list, including commercial angle also. But within that, a lot of people have said improving the culture, work culture, creating a culture of appreciation, timely addressing of all issues in a positive manner. Training and development is very important. And I'm again saying no one is perfect in this world. Learning and sharing training is forever. And I'm a lifelong learner myself. So thank you very much for all these inputs. As HR heads, you are playing that role. Okay. Let's come back to slides again. We are coming towards the end of the session. So as I said, financial commercial is important, but we not necessarily look for money only all the time. So there are some other motivators also, and especially for session today is millennials and Gen Z. Learning and development, and someone said that learning and development recently also from the group as well. Travel and career growth opportunities. We all look forward to travel. And travel, I'm assuming it's going abroad, out of India. Specifically, I know a little more about IT industry, but I wouldn't like to make it a yardstick. But maximum people, I also started my career with TCS. First 20 years I was with TCS, so an IT company. And we used to look forward to going abroad. And perhaps at one point in time, the only motivation or the biggest motivation for joining such companies like TCS, Infosys, Wipro, etc., just taking the three names, but generally any IT company that we would be getting an on-site, which means on-site opportunity, deportation, going abroad, which it seems to me in last 10, 15 years, couple of decades has reduced because a lot of outsourcing is happening. We don't need to travel now. The client says you work from back home. So those opportunities perhaps have reduced. And this is, I'm saying, my impression, not necessarily this is a correct statement or information or a fact. But based on a couple of cases known to me, I understand that the opportunities had reduced last 3 years due to COVID-19 pandemic period. We almost all of us were stuck wherever we were. So perhaps that's what is coming out to be a non-commercial, non-financial motivator is to travel, I'm assuming abroad, people are looking for more travel opportunities. This came out as a surprise to me that Gen Z is willing to spend more time in office. Gen Z, who are the youngest ones. Again, I'll leave the data to be absorbed, to be digested for a few minutes. If you look at millennials, 14% employees want the flexibility to choose the days to work from office, which means they are willing to work from office, but they want flexibility to choose the days. If you look at Gen Z, 21% employees want the flexibility to choose the days to work from office. So both are willing to or looking forward to having flexibility. Which days of the week do I go to office? But there is a difference of about 7%. Millennials, which means they are willing to spend more time in office. I would like to share an example from personal life here. COVID-19 pandemic period, about 2.5 years, were bad for almost all of us. Some were impacted more, some were impacted less. Our thoughts to those who lost lives, whose loved ones, family members, friends, colleagues lost lives. Lot happened across globe. My son, working in Scotland for last 3 years. It's just last month he came back. Neither he nor we were able to travel because of COVID-19 pandemic. And he had just left. He started job. They just started in Scotland, and then lockdowns across globe were announced, including in Scotland. We used to talk to him every night. And after about 6 months, he said he was depressed. And that's a big, big worry for us. What's the depression? Talking to him a little more, it was work from home. Gen Z. So there may be some people like me. We have spent 30, 35, 37 years, 10, 15 years in the industry. Maybe we are bored of, we are fed up, and we are looking forward to working from home. But these are young people who have not seen the corporate world. They are willing to, looking forward to see the working world, the corporate world. So while a lot happened, there was some calls that now we will allow or ask our people to work from home forever. Then it became hybrid. Then there have been some calls, come back 100%, no work from home. It seems generally hybrid is coming as I personally have been saying work from home is not good according to me. It should have been only a temporary measure as business continuity measure. It has some positive points, allows us to ensure the continuity of the work when the office is not available due to any reason, but it creates many more challenges. One of those is this mental. When I said we need to be resilient, I said I need to be strong physically, mentally, emotionally also. And had work from home had a lot of impact like that. Studies have been done. I ran surveys, over 100 surveys in 2 years, covering thousands of people of all ages, including students also, experienced people, males, females, companies, countries. On an average, 50% were saying they were looking forward to, eagerly looking forward to going back to office, which perhaps is coming here. And the reason for that would have been that emotional angle that perhaps we didn't have enough time at that time. We just had to start working from home. But now, when COVID-19 pandemic is reduced to almost a great extent, perhaps coming down to zero, arguably, questionably, I wouldn't go into those discussions. I agree with anyone saying no to that point. Now, the one is not zero, it's not gone, not yet. We have time. We are a little more relaxed now compared to last 2.5 years. It's time to think again on our strategy. So work from home strategy, working strategies, and these are linked with our HR policies, strategies, and practices. I hope everyone in the session understand what is gig, which is freelancer, consultant roles, short-term contractual assignments. Gen Z is more willing to try gig engagement. So when this comes, this is a pointer once again for HR heads. They need to think of their policies. They may have to tweak. Top reasons to pick gig. Gen Z is saying job location and flexibility, specialized self-focus, skills focus, and flexibility in working hours. While little different for millennials. Job location flexibility, same, but little more importance by millennials. Flexibility in working hours becomes number two for millennials, and specialized skill focus becomes number three for millennials. Second question, once again, it's a question, it's not a poll. I'll request you to type in your responses in the chat box and I'll monitor that. Again, you become the HR head and belonging to any organization. What challenges you foresee in gig working? Gig, once again, I'll say, is freelancer, consultant roles, short-term contractual assignments. So as HR head, you're playing the role of HR head. Do you foresee any challenges? What challenges do you foresee in gig working? Please type in chat box and I'll keep monitoring it. Not satisfied. First answer is from Anish Kumar. I'll wait for a few more seconds, for a minute also. Insecurity of job, money wise and job wise. So gig working is insecure. Reliability, uh, and you need to think as HR head. That's what the question was. Don't think as an employee, as a worker. Yes, short-term engagement is negative. Any more challenges? HR heads. It seems retention is reduced. That may be one from the HR head's point of view. Does freelancing affects Mahesh saying, I don't know whether it's a question or a statement. How to delight the internal and external customers? Good atmosphere. Good atmosphere in gig or is not in gig? That's still not clear. So think as an HR head. Have you heard of moonlighting? Have you heard of moonlighting? During COVID-19 pandemic, that also became a big challenge. You're working for XYZ, company XYZ, but because you're working at home, there are less controls and you are able to work on multiple other assignments, which is some companies say is okay, but most companies would say it's not okay. Even if I say I'm doing this in my free time, I'm willing to work for 18 hours. 10 hours, what is my commitment to you? 8 hours is my own. What company says, my company says, Daman, after working 18 hours, you are not good for me. So I wouldn't allow you to be moonlighting working on two companies in two different companies. Dedication will be a problem. These now coming as challenges from the HR head. Option to look for better always open. Is that bad? Or do you want to close that option for our employees if you're working from office, if it was not a gig? So keep thinking. As of now, these are quick ones. I understand when we have to take decisions, sometimes we spend hours, days, and weeks to take these decisions. Here, I have been just asking you to type quickly. But it's good that so many options are coming up, and then we can look at what is more important for us, and then we need to work upon that. One was from K. Apurva, clear expectations of SOW, statement of work, and that's also very good. It may not be clear. And that's one negative point of working from home also. Our communication was more effective when we were sitting across the tables. And many seniors, the supervisors, have been saying that. Supervisors are more looking forward to going back to office. By the way, my research also said women were more looking forward to going back to office compared to men. And this came from HR head directly, a female HR head. Okay, great. Thank you very much. Going back to the remaining few slides. Six commandments. What are companies doing? And the response is you see which companies participated. So sample names only. Focusing on skilling and communicating growth progression plans. I do not even understand what are the possibilities for me in this company. That's what HR heads have picked up. Companies are working on this, focusing on skilling and communicating growth progression plans. The one you are a coder today, you can become a senior coder. The one you can become a project manager, program director. So first, these are the options available, and then you need to work on those skills, Taman. It's not just by time, over time, every 5 years, you will be given a promotion. You will need to have those skills. You work on that, we work with you on that, and this is the career grow path that we draw up for you, and this is how you can move up. And then the job satisfaction increases, which we had seen one of the action items in earlier slides. Third time become HR head. And this is a poll, so may I request poll 7 to be launched, please. Playing the role of HR head, once again, please select one of the following. What are you saying based on the discussions that we see we have discussed? We perhaps need to look at our policies, HR policies, and need to either refine, revise, tweak, or write additional ones also. So what do you see as an HR head? Only one option to be selected. I request everyone to participate. I'm making everyone the HR head of your company or of your dream company. And then answer this question, please. We need to change our HR policies and practices. Good discussions, and we have already initiated changes in our HR policies and practices. Good discussions, and we have already completed the necessary changes. Maybe someone saying so. And D also is an option if you would like to select. I do not foresee any changes required in our HR policies and practices in view of the discussions held today. And I'm also responding to this one, by the way. So A is the maximum response. We need to change, followed by we have initiated change, or we have already implemented all the changes. Only 2 out of 100 saying that we do not foresee, which I would like to say it's not incorrect. I wouldn't say it's incorrect response, but I would like to say think again. Let me also sit with you as an HR head, as a consultant, and then let's discuss this once again. Perhaps we would like to change our opinion. This one is very important. I request maximum participation to this. On a scale of 1 to 10, how likely are you to recommend IEEE membership? You know this session was brought to you all through IEEE platform. So on a scale of 1 to 10, how likely are you to recommend IEEE membership to someone else? 10 is most likely, 1 is least likely. Can we launch poll 8, please? And you have to select only one of these. 10 is most likely, 1 is least likely. Quickly, we know that the polls are getting closed automatically in a minute. I request maximum participation. This question will help us to improve upon our services to you. And I'm also responding to this one. On a scale of 1 to 10, how likely you are to recommend IEEE membership to someone else? 10 is most likely and 1 is least likely. Please pick up your option response. Very important for us to know this input, have this input. Based on this, we would like to drop improvement plans. We want to improve our services to you all. You may close the poll and share the results also. Great. Thank you very much. Once again, the analysis of this response to this particular question, which is very important for us, we will be sharing in the final analysis report that will be shared with you in a couple of days. Thanks a lot. But it seems 61 people have not responded. And we would like to know, what do we know? What do we do to increase your participation in these polls? These are built in to have the session interactive, to make it interactive. The last one. Hope you are satisfied with today's session. Your options, yes, thanks. And I would like to have more information about IEEE membership. And no, we wouldn't mind. No, no one is perfect. No will only tell us that we need to improve. We need to do this differently. Can I have your responses, please? Maximum responses to this one also, once again, I request. Was it useful? Then you have two options. Thanks, and you would like to know more about IEEE membership if you don't know. This is also possible that there are people who are already IEEE members, but still do not know a lot about IEEE, and we'll be happy to help them as well, because there's a lot that you can do with IEEE. My response also gone for the question. I hope everyone is responding to this one. Specifically, if your category is B or C. B will help us to provide you information. C will help us to improve upon our deliveries. You may close and share the results with us. Thank you very much. Little better participation. 50 people still have not responded. Participation itself is good. We have been arranging these sessions, these webinars, almost weekly basis. We have rarely missed due to any particular reason, most likely because of a holiday or holiday season. But otherwise, for over 2 years, we have continued. We have scored century of these sessions, and these are free for all forever. But without your participation, these wouldn't be successful. So we thank you all for this. My coordinates with you in front of you. You can write to me directly through IEEE, through BVI Cam, and I'll be happy to respond to all the questions. Back to Professor Ayushi. Thank you very much once again, everyone.
Thank you so much, sir. This was really an And I think deliberation. With your polls, it was more interesting. Your polls made it more interesting.
Thank you.
With your permission, sir, though your session was totally engaging and you took on all the reviews and the questions on the light only, but herein I would like you to address on one point which I have from my end. May I put it up?
If I am capable, because I would like to say once again,
Yeah.
I'm not HR head in my life, in my profession, and the discussions are based on the NASCOM report, which I was not part of. I'm just presenting, or I was just presenting the results. In between, I added my perspective also. Yes, please go ahead. If I'm able to answer, I'll be happy to.
Sir, I want to know like that driving force for Gen Z and millennials. It is a bit different. So, what is your take? You please elaborate on this. How far it is affecting the market, or would it affect the market as their driving force is totally different and they are poles apart?
So, first easy answer response, Professor Aishi, would be yes, because they are to the tune of about 70%. Workforce is falling into these two categories. So, they will. Now, what are their expectations? We need to understand. And that's what the purpose of this session was, that we understand their aspirations and expectations. Then we pick up some actions for ourselves to improve upon that to meet their expectations, aspirations. Financial is important to anyone and everyone. I would like to earn more and more. My salary should go up, right? That's for sure, is for anyone and everyone. But at the same time, perhaps the flexibility, that hybrid working, and also career growth is coming out to be a bigger point. And again, I'm repeating, out of those given five options, corporate social responsibility came to be on fifth number by both generations. But that doesn't mean that they don't like working for society. And that doesn't mean that we should forget society. We cannot, we must not forget society. Is that's our environment. When I say environment, I don't mean to say the plants, animals, and air only. We all, the society makes the environment. That's what the environment is for me, and we need to take care of this, which means we need to take care of each other, which means as an HR head, I need to take care of you, the employee in my organization.
Right, sir. Right. Thank you so much, sir. On behalf of Professor M.N. Huda, sir, as he's out, and on behalf of BVI CAM, I would like to present you the certificate, a token of gratitude from our end. Please accept the same, sir.
Thank you very
Thank you
much.
for providing us the time. Also, an e-memento as a gratitude from BVI CAM family.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for taking out time for us. And also, I would like to thank all my participants who have continuously supported us by joining us all through our webinars. And big thank you for joining. Also, an important information to all the participants that the after the webinar is over, the report can be downloaded from the link shared